Demons Discuss, take 5. The one with our TV wish list. Welcome to Demons Discuss, the unofficial podcast about the All Souls universe and the topics that orbit it. We're your hosts, Angela, Jean, and Valerie. I'm Valerie, and with me is Angela and Jean, as always. Hi, Angela and Jean.
Hi, Val. Hello. Hi, listeners.
Today, we are talking about our television production wish list. Did I lisp on that?
Don't try to say that 3 times fast.
Our television production wish list. There we go. We considered calling this Demons Demands for a hot second, but nah, we're not going to do that. We've come out with a general outline. This is kind of a loosey-goosey episode. Would you agree?
How about Demon's Desires?
Demon's Desires is better. DD. It falls into that. So here's our general outline, and we're going to try to follow it. So hang in with us, listeners. We're going to do this.
You get to see how magic is made tonight.
Because we're doing it on the fly, and we may or may not have had some alcohol.
And we may or may not have had this discussion 500 times before.
Right. All right. So scenes we hope are not cut. General casting. Oh, no. See, I messed it up. See, I can't even drink, you guys. I'm not...
No, you can drink.
You can drink, but it's just going to be harder for you to edit this damn thing together.
I'm going to keep it in so they can hear it. I don't care. Okay, so really, we're discussing our hopes for the general atmosphere. Yay, I did it that time. Scenes that we hope are not cut. General casting wishes. If money is no object, aka television budget on a vampire's bank account. I did it. All right, so let's start with our hopes for the general atmosphere.
I haven't really thought about Discovery of Witches as much as Shadow of Night, to be honest with you, because Shadow of Night, I saw Wolf Hall, and I'm like, I want Shadow of Night to look like that. That kind of light, those kind of sets. I want it to look like 1590.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I would think a Discovery of Witches, if you had a scale of Wolf Hall to Rain, as you put it before.
I want Wolf Hall.
I think a Discovery of Witches should be somewhere in the middle there. And then Shadow of Night could be Wolf Hall-ish.
I agree. I guess I want it to look more like public broadcasting as opposed to CW. for European listeners, CW is very much oriented to the teen and youth.
Everybody's pretty.
Everybody's young.
There's
a lot of anachronisms in there, and it's very shiny.
Yes.
Very shiny.
It's Hollywood for TV.
Yes. I think as long for a Discovery of Witches anyway, that should be an easy one to do as long as you film parts at Oxford and parts in a place that looks like Hamilton, New York, and parts in a place that looks like, France. It could be all the Auvergne in France. Then I think we're good. I mean, it's as general as it could be.
Right.
I think generally for a Discovery of Witches, I want the castle to look like a castle. I don't want the sets to shake like they did on Dark Shadows.
Oh.
Well, how about even like Tudors?
Tudors actually looked good to me. I mean, it had a nice look to it. They actually filmed in a castle in Ireland, if I recall correctly. I mean, if we get that, I'm fine. I'm not saying you need to go film in the Auvergne. You don't have to. Well, you do have to go film in the Bodleian. I'm sorry, there's no way we can get around that. And
I feel like
be happy, but
there are enough places that look like like where Septor is located and where Hamilton, I mean, that's anywhere in the Northeast, really. I think they can make, or Connecticut, it would work fine in Connecticut too.
Right.
But I think the thing of it is they can't film it all on a sound stage. There's going to have to be filming outside. You can't do CGI screens to recreate the hunting scenes. It just won't work.
Well, I think CGI screens are going to have to happen in some respects because of the magic that's involved.
Oh, definitely. But I guess what I'm saying is so many productions nowadays figure CGI is a solution to everything, including, we don't want to build into the budget to go out someplace where you actually have to ride horses in nature.
See, I don't think Deb's going to let that happen.
I don't think so either, but I just need to put it out there in the universe to make sure that it does.
It is out there now. Out there, yeah. Duly out there.
I'm a difficult person. I realize that. But we've lived with these books for 5 years. It needs to look good on the screen because it's looked great in our heads for all that time. And
that's where the pressure would come in for the producers of the show, yes. I would think.
Yes.
Because she is so descriptive on the page that how do you translate that and make it a full experience on screen? An example of who did it well. Let me think. Harry Potter, they did it well.
Yes, they did.
Trying to think of another situation where it was done well.
I know there's a big controversy about The Girl on the Train right now because they translated the story to suburban New York from London commuters, and there are a lot of people who are very upset about that because they feel that the look of the movie is really a lot of the undercurrent of the movie has been undermined.
One I can speak on is 50 Shades of Grey because I live here and
where's here?
and in the general Seattle, Tacoma area. And it was done well because most of that was filmed up north in Vancouver in Canada. But they did the right things by shooting crucial scenes at crucial places. And I know the helicopter scene, I drug poor Robert to go see the movie with me. And the helicopter scene.
Was it really poor Robert?
Yeah. He was like, are we kidding here? I was like, no, we got to see it.
Oh my. Oh, well, we did go see a Scott. We did walk past Escada when we went to visit Deb at the signing up in Seattle. So
yeah,
we did the 50 Shades tour of Seattle while we were there too. So thank you for that, Val.
Well, I mean, we happened to be walking that way anyway. I'm like, by the way,
it was very cool.
By the way, that's a Scala. No, I mean, when the helicopter scene, when it flew over the Tacoma Narrows Bridge and Robert's like, that's the Narrows Bridge. I was like, yeah. They're in the Seattle-Tacoma area. She's like, oh, okay. So they did a good job as far as getting crucial scenes where they needed to do it. And if they do the same for Discovery of Witches, I'm fine with it. I'm easy. Just show me a couple scenes where it's supposed to be.
And for me, as long as the magic doesn't look ridiculous.
A bunch of strings tied to
like drunk history.
Fling some glitter.
Oh, sprinkle some fairy dust.
Yeah,
good to go.
Please make the special effects look good, because I want, if the microcosm looks hanky, I'll be sad.
Don't make Jean sad.
Don't make me sad. Being sad is kind of a mess.
Oh, God.
Because the microcosm scene is just so, it's kind of pivotal. It's very intimate, and
That could be spectacular too. That it could be a phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's where she takes flight while Matthew is chasing her, right? And she flies in the air and her hair catches fire. And then she slowly comes down and hands her a piece of herself.
Yes. That's kind of Adao.
That's the scene you mean, right?
Yes, that's Adao in a nutshell. That's like when she finally is like, okay, we're done. It's us. We are in us.
I am giving you a piece of me.
Yes.
Which I had no idea, Val. I asked you your thinking behind the poster you did of the alchemical wedding, and you'd said you wanted to kind of pay homage to that scene and where she's handing him the little energy ball, which I thought was awesome.
Yep. It was the best way I could do it without making it look cheesy.
Mm-hmm. So follow the demon's lead. Don't make it cheesy.
Don't make it cheesy.
That's our admonition through the whole thing, Deb. Don't make it cheesy. Don't let them make it cheesy.
I don't think she will.
No, she will lay down her life to make sure this does not turn out cheesy. I have every faith.
Well, first and foremost, I have every ounce of faith in Ashley that he is doing the adaptation justice, and with Deb's input, it's going to be spectacular. But we're just talking about the execution of that adaptation.
Yes, definitely.
Well, for our listeners, what else has he done so we can make judgments based on that?
The Living and the Dead he just did.
I didn't watch it.
It's coming. I think it's coming this month. Actually, it should be on BBC America this fall.
Okay.
So I think in October or maybe November.
And from what I've gathered online, it's kind of a cool 19th century spooky kind of supernatural story. It's kind of got a Jack the Ripper, Whitechapel kind of feel to it, is what I was getting.
Exactly. Yep.
So he's going to be able to handle the historical fiction aspect of it, and
historical fiction and King of the Fields, which that's huge for All Souls trilogy.
I think it's in good hands.
I think so too.
Oh, here it is. Thursday, October 27th on BBC America.
Yes!
It's coming.
Yay! I mean, it's much better than we could have gotten something like Rain. Oh, that would not have been good.
Something like Rain. Now I have to watch it.
It's a teenage version of what? Mary Queen of Scots, Angela?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that makes me shudder. It just makes me shudder. I can't imagine a version of Mary Queen of Scots targeted towards a teen audience. It just, yes, I realized she was a teenager when a lot of this went on, but to try and convert the story to something that 21st century teens would want to watch, I can't see it ending well.
Yeah. It's Mary Queen of Scots, and it's described as American historical fantasy romance television on the exploits of Mary Queen of Scots. So, I mean, that sounds like a whole bunch of wrong. starting with American historical fantasy of not American history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's nothing romantic about it at the end of the day, considering she loses her head. It's like there's a whole bunch of way more than angst and just downright manipulation, conspiracy, and a whole lot of stuff that was out of that poor woman's hands.
Well, at least this is all in Deb's hands. So can we agree that we think this will be okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. She has been so solicitous of us as a fandom about what do you think, what do you want to see, what's important to you as fans, and I have not. That's
throughout all of the iterations of the production plans. I mean, that was through Warner Brothers, the BBC plan, and now the Bad Wolf plan. Yes. So she's been continually asking and wanting to know what do you want to see? What do you want not to see cut? So that brings us into our next thing, scenes that we hope are not cut. So we can agree that microcosm one, the one where she gives her a piece of herself. That's one. How about other ones? I mean, have you thought about scenes you don't want cut? Let's concentrate on like Discovery of Witches to start.
Okay. Matthew sitting on top of the bridge of sighs that night when he stalks her. He
the stalking
needs to sit. You know where he's sitting on top of the roof of that bridge?
Yeah.
We need to see him sitting on that bridge. I mean, it'd be fun to see her try and hit him with the paddle, but if it's the choice between the two, he needs to be on top of the bridge as opposed to her smacking him down.
Well, she never actually smacks him down.
I know, but you know what I mean. that scene where she wants to smack him down.
Right. Let me think. What do I want not cut? How about you, Angela? You have any on your list?
Yeah, my
Baldwin better not be cut. That's my other one.
Well, that's a given. Chapters, 30, 31, 32. In fact, they could expand those if they'd like. But I'm not the romantic of the group, so of course for me, I would want the ledger scene not to be cut. I mean, it doesn't have to go into detail like numbers and get all nerdy, but just her discovery, her snooping
in the seals,
Matthew's library,
the one where
and discovering the seals,
the one where she found out that the Knights of Lazarus has absorbed the Templars.
Yes, but it was so precise, and it was like a trail of breadcrumbs in the book that. It was it wasn't just one epiphany. It was something that led to the next, and I don't know how they're going to do it in the series.
It could be done very easily visually. I think you could get through it faster visually as she scans the shelf and just has this
voiceover a visually thing, with a voiceover explanation. That'd be perfect. There, look at us solving all these TV problems.
I mean.
Just a visual of her going through the bookshelves and pulling. I mean, that could be like a 2-minute scene with a voiceover.
Which is basically a whole chapter taken care of.
Yep.
But it's such an important scene because she just realizes, oh my God, this whole family not only has existed forever, it's like they are history. They made the history.
Yes, they are history.
And her visions. I think her visions are really important too. I hope we don't lose those.
I do too.
Because those kind of open up the whole narrative for the family and for her own family. And that's how a lot of that stuff came up with her parents is through those visions. I mean, it's such an easy trick as far.
And she already primed us for, losing the yoga scene.
Yeah. Well, I can kind of see why that yoga scene is really cool in your head, but translating it to the screen could get really silly.
Yeah. And I also don't think 2 dinner scenes are necessary.
I agree.
Yeah.
The breakfast was pivotal.
Yeah. I would say the breakfast, and probably if we had to pick one dinner scene over the other, I think it's when he has her to dinner is more important. Only because, again, I'm in love with the history of them going down into his cellar in the All Souls College and going through the wine.
I would love to see a fictional cellar of Matthew's. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I think just because she's in New College?
Yes.
I think because of the mystique, it would be more fun to see a representation of his rooms in All Souls just because of the mystique of All Souls, because not many people are allowed behind the gates, and I just think you could do so much with that, because there's also not the expectation. You're not going to have the people nitpicking. It's like, well, I went to New College and the rooms never did look like that. So, I mean, you also avoid a lot of nitpicking issues, I think, that way too.
Yeah, but how much do television producers care about nitpickers, really?
Probably they don't care very much, but
no.
Being out in the fandom and having to listen to the nitpickers, I do.
And that's what matters. Don't make Jean sad.
Don't make me mad.
That should be your goal.
Yeah, everyone's goal in the world. Don't upset me. I'm kidding. I am totally kidding. I am probably the most understanding person of the enormity of this task that Deb has. because she writes such a dense, layered, beautiful story that trying to pick and choose what's going to go on the screen is just going to probably be impossible for her, because all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into creating it.
I do hope that they do the dancing scene at Set Tour.
You could do that without it looking hokey, I think. It would look...
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be lovely.
Just to catch the energy of Isabeau.
And the Witchwater one, yeah. That's what I would absolutely have to see. That'd be hard to pull off, but I think I'd have to see it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think how... That
it's like I don't care how they get it done. It just needs to get done. That's it.
I hear you.
Don't make Val sad.
Yeah, that will make Val sad. The Witchwater will make Val sad. But yeah, I have to have Baldwin Speech. I'm sorry. It's so, there's so much imagery just packed in his whole recitation of the history of the Knights of Lazarus that you could do such a phenomenal voiceover image sequence with that.
That speech, you found out hundreds of years of history about the Claremont.
And it said so much about them too, because it's like, yeah, we fight for the underdogs. We make sure we always make sure it's a fair fight. I mean, all of that, when you look at it at the end of the day, Philippe was about making things a fair fight, which speaks volumes.
I'm not saying it's Henry V Agincourt speech, but I like it just the same.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's St. Crispin's Day all over again, really.
Yes.
And that goes back to our last dream topic about things.
General casting.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, there was one more thing in A Discovery of Witches that I know what it was. It was the fireworks in the bedroom. Their whole, when they finally came together, because that was just done so tastefully and
with the fireworks,
and the stars on the ceiling. I think that could be done so tastefully and just so emotionally. I think even more so than
the bundling.
No, well, yeah, even more so than the bundling. I thought the fireworks in Madison were better, just because of the way she did it visually with the stars, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it can be run on at 8:00.
You know what? I just think the house is pivotal too.
Oh yeah.
You really have to. Like I said in another episode, the ensemble of the cast getting together, trying to figure out this thing, especially after Juliet, and realizing this is a really big thing, that they were actually at war. It's no longer theory, we might be at war. No, they're at war. So, the meetings that take place, everything, all their plans leading into the next book, I think as long as that's there, and
the trees don't look fakey. I don't want the trees around the house to look fake, especially with the whole confrontation with Juliet, because that oak tree is so pivotal.
Don't make Jean cry.
I'm a visual person. I mean, I don't want people to be disappointed in this production because the sets look cheap.
Yeah.
Don't put a fake tree in there. Just go film outside.
You know what? I don't think they'll put a fake tree.
I know.
I have a lot of fail side. I like a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in this. I think.
Yeah. I mean, upstate New York is a big place to have your pick of where you want to film.
I mean, that's, like I said, that's anywhere from, let's say, Maryland to Maine can look like upstate New York.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. See, that's a whole bunch of for me. I'm like, I have total faith. I'm just not worried.
I do too. But I borrow trouble. You guys know that.
I know.
It's by nature.
I think everyone agrees, though, that the Bishop House is its own character.
Yes.
Though.
Yes. The house and Tabitha. Because, you know, got to have a black cat.
Mm-hmm. And the horses. You have to have the right horses for Rakasa and Balthazar.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll work it out.
I know they will.
Look at me. Yeah. What a mess of a podcast. I'm like, they'll work it out. The end. Okay, bye. See you next week.
Something more important.
Okay, casting.
Not spell casting, just casting.
Casting. Yes.
And we're not talking who should play who, but what's important in casting.
Yes.
Oh.
The look and the aura of the character is important. Now, here's my wheelhouse. If you mess up the characters, you mess up the whole thing.
True.
Don't make Val cry.
God, don't make Val cry. It's not a good thing.
Like we were discussing the other day, like Isabeau. I showed you the picture of that face of that actress. I forgot her name. But it doesn't have to be that.
It's Ava Green. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be Ava Green, but somebody Ava Green-esque. You know?
It's the attitude. I know what you're saying exactly. It's like it's not necessarily you have to keep true to the how Deb conjured up the characters. Not in one respect, it really upsets me when it's like, okay, well, I think blah 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 should be XYZ, and it's like, why? You disregarded every single character trait and physical characteristic that Deb has ascribed to that character. What makes you think that this particular actor embodies anything about the character is written in the book?
We should probably mention that since we do run a fan site that is got a fantasy cast on it, that we think that actor would be great. However, we're not married to the idea. We're realistic. We definitely have understudies in our heads of who else could possibly play the role of Matthew. And Matthew happens to be a big one. Diana, I'm not so married to. Okay.
Diana's a hard one. Diana's always been a hard one. I mean, I think it's because the way the book is designed that especially the female readers kind of put themselves in that role as you're reading it.
You put yourself in Diana's shoes. So when you're watching the screen, you're not going to see a mirror image of yourself. No. That's why she's hard to cast. Yeah. I mean, you can put a blondish actress on there and just hope she does okay. But you have to kind of get somebody who's as intense as she is. Because when it comes to studying, when it comes to certain things, she's very intense. So you have to get somebody who's intense.
Yeah.
And somebody who can convey.
Highly intelligent, but not with commensurate emotional intelligence, because that's part of the thing with Diana. Is like she's kind of clueless when it comes to functioning in life.
Well, yeah, that was by design in her plan.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, she's got to be able to go through a metamorphosis, too. I mean, she starts out with blonde hair that sticks up all over the place because she's got the pent-up magic, and then, Shadow of Night is different, and then Book of Life, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, she goes through... it's an actress that's going to be able to outwardly portray the inner changes, I guess.
Right.
And her inner turmoil will have to be able to see that. Yeah. So it has to be an actress who can convey that.
I mean, Deb's written nothing but complex characters, so this is not a job where you bring in people who haven't acted before. I think.
Or a model.
Across the board. For any of these roles. Yeah. It's just not, there's a lot of nuance.
What I'm curious about is each character's scent. I mean, Diana not so much, but it's important in the books anyways that she has that lingering taste in her mouth or in her nostrils of the cinnamon and cloves.
How do you portray that on television? You can't.
Right.
Unless you have a voiceover describing it. But at that point, what's the purpose, really? Right. I mean, somebody who never picked up the books and turns on the TV and said, I don't care what this dude smells like. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think a lot of the nuance.
Some of the nuance we're going to have to lose because it just doesn't translate.
But that's one thing that I enjoy. I mean, okay, I'll concede if, that's not going to happen. But even when she opens Philippe's letter and she smells bay leaf and laurel, it's just, I like those extra touches, and I guess it won't be, or could possibly not be in the.
I guess we won't cry.
And the whole, as we're regressing back to the whole wine tasting scene is probably something that may lose a little bit in translation too, because that's like the character sense. It's very hard to
nuance.
It's very hard to translate to the screen. But anyway, back to casting. It's like I do not envy the casting director for this, because everybody's going to have an opinion, and all I ask is that they pay attention to how Deb went to a great deal of effort to describe each and every character. And I'll be honest, if people start ignoring the fact that Matthew looks like a panther, or that Baldwin has copper colored hair and is more of a slender athletic build, I'm going to be really upset. No, because the difference in their body builds comes into play in Book of Life, and the way they look reflects the time frame and the culture they were in when they were converted to being a vampire. Yeah, I mean, all those little things. She threw all those things in as little clues for a reason.
I know, Jean, but let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
You are a history buff.
Yes.
You are someone that knows those little nuances. We're talking about somebody just picking up the remote and turning on the TV, right? So what would that matter to them?
Well, it wouldn't matter to them, but if he was or wasn't what color hair a character had wouldn't matter to a casual viewer, but it would matter greatly to someone who is not casual.
That's true.
My point being is that why change it if it isn't going to draw in new viewers? I mean, how is changing a bit about a nuance of a secondary character going to draw in more?
It won't.
No, it won't. That's my point. It's like, but there's a certain mentality of casting where it's like, oh, this guy's really cute, we could find a role for him,
right?
And that is something that just runs counter to the way I view these books.
I mean, it sounds simple, but the way Deb has described people's hair, characters' hair in the books, it's important. I mean, you picture Baldwin as fiery and his hair is copper. You picture Sarah, no nonsense, straightforward. Her hair is red and fiery. Matthew's got the lush black hair and he's got the tells that goes with it.
The pale skin and the green eyes that are all very
I think it's all important.
And another thing is, like as Val was trying to dissuade me, another thing that's important about Baldwin having copper colored hair is it's a visual sign of where he comes from. He's not, he may be made in Roman times, but he's not a Roman from Rome. He's not a typical dark-haired Italian, what we would think is a Roman, with a redheaded person from that time. He was probably from a client country, which, I mean, not everybody's going to realize, but
I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just
why it's kind of important, because it's a visual cue later down the line.
And that's what I wanted to hear.
And, we may be in book 4 and 5 where Baldwin's backstory becomes a totally important thing. And it's like, you cast some black-haired guy as Baldwin, you're totally screwed.
Right.
Deb's not screwed. She can write what she wants.
No, she can write whatever she wants, but I'm just saying, as far as the TV production's concerned, you're kind of screwed.
You'll have a divergence. Kind of like True Blood and the Sookie Stackhouse series, where there was a divergence. I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Well, there's also the big divergence with Game of Thrones right now, from what I understand, because George R.R. Martin is still behind in his writing.
He's still writing, so they had to come up with an ending. But no, exactly. You did exactly what I wanted you to do, to articulate for the audience why it's important.
Yeah, I mean, Deb's very precise. As we know, there's no coincidences with her. So, as Jean was saying, for Baldwin to have copper color hair, I think that was very calculated. I mean, Roman coins are made of copper. They use a lot of copper. I mean, I don't think it was a coincidence. And to see that vanish in the series, whether the TV viewer picks it up or not, it's still important.
There you go.
And
don't make us cry.
And for Miriam's another excellent example as far as
how so.
Her and her curly dark hair and her pale skin and the fact that she's so petite are all clues to when she came from, to where she came from. I've seen some talk in the fandom where some people have interpreted her as coming from an African lineage.
Africa. Mm-hmm.
But which also is going to be interesting to see how that shakes out, because there's a difference between being African of a racial type and being culturally African, which would include all of the Semitic countries in North Africa, which is pretty much Arabic. So there's a dichotomy there. I mean, Deb's got some very specific descriptions and clues of descriptions of Miriam and clues as to her background in that. And I think the producers really need to pay attention to that as well. And I would hate for them to foresee Miriam as an opportunity to just call her look at her as a casting quota.
What do you mean?
Well,
as Angela says, what do you mean?
What do we mean? I think some.
I was like, whoa.
Some people would look at it as, it's an opportunity to cast an African American actress,
right? Where
I don't think that was Miriam's background, but that's the way I've interpreted the clues. And the fact that we've had long discussions about her last name of Shepherd.
Right.
For another thing. I think there's opportunities with certain characters for casting directors to play fast and loose. And I just hope they don't. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Why are you laughing, Val?
Because I feel like I've put you on the friggin' trial. It's like, no. No, I just needed you to expand, because I know what you're talking about. Angela knows what you're talking about. Maybe some of the audience needs help there.
And audience, I apologize if I sound like I'm lecturing or perhaps being too big for my britches, but
she was born big for her britches.
Yeah, I can't find pants to fit. I'm sorry. I'm very.
We'll say persnickety.
No, we won't say persnickety. I'm just very involved in the details.
Yes.
And I'm very protective of Deb's work. But that doesn't mean to say I know better than Deb at all.
That's right.
I just guess a lot, and I'm usually wrong.
No, you're not.
Yeah, actually, I am. The thing is, the reason I'm more wrong than right is because I keep trying to throw stuff at the wall, and it, sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. But when you throw a whole...
That's how I cook spaghetti, by the way. Yeah, yeah, just throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. Again, like I said, I'm just here, whole hum, not worried, because she's there. She'll protect it.
Honestly, I think Deb got some really good advice from some people who've already gone through the process to do everything that she needs to do to protect her work and protect her characters and to protect her vision. And I think she will do everything she needs to do to make sure that happens. And I think she also has some really badass people whispering in her ear to make sure that Deb has all the tools she needs to make that happen.
I think so too. And when she doesn't, she's got some awesome consultants like that martial arts.
Oh, Patrick, yes. His podcast is fabulous.
Wyman, yeah. I mean, she's got the best of the best. When she doesn't have the best of the best, she finds the best of the best.
I would agree.
All right, so we're going to move on to our last subject. If money was no object.
If money was no object.
If the television budget was from a vampire's bank account.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
And so besides doing it word for word from the
book. God, imagine how long that series would be.
That'd be great.
That'd be, well, Discovery of Witches would take 3 years.
I was
going
to
to
say 3 seasons. Discovery of Witches. I don't know if that'd necessarily be a good thing, though. Honest to God.
No, because you'd have your vampires aging. And all your vampires would age out of their parts.
But that would mean we could actually film at a castle in France and could have all our locations in Oxford and have a fabulous helicopter at La Pierre.
Fleet of Range Rovers.
Yeah. And Oscar-winning actors in minor roles.
That's great. Yeah. Let me start casting Hamish then. Oh, God.
Who would be your Hamish, Valerie, by the way? You are the Hamish expert. Who would be your Hamish?
Johnny Lee Miller is my number one.
Ooh, I like that. He would be a really good Hamish, actually.
He's very bird-like.
And he's very precise.
And he's bird-like, precise. He's Angelina Jolie's ex. So that makes it okay.
And I really like his shape. I really like his Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Take on Sherlock Holmes.
In Elementary. Yes. Yeah, he's my number one. He'd be my Hamish.
Yes.
Beyond everybody else.
And if Miriam were Asian, Joan would, the gal who plays Joan would be my Miriam. What is her name? I can't. Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu.
But
she'd be your Miriam?
She'd be my Miriam if Miriam were Asian.
Okay, because so while we're going down this route, so while we're at it, if we're going to have lots of money and cast who we want, Emily to me would be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh,
hire her.
Oh yeah,
she'd be a good Emily, I think.
And Susan Sarandon would be an excellent Sarah.
Yeah, I could see it.
Or Stockard Channing, but Stockard Channing's too old.
You think?
I think so by now. Yeah.
Though
I kind of like the idea of Rizzo being in our production.
Right.
For so many reasons.
She's great and everything.
True. True.
Let's see. If money were no object.
Oh, Philippe. Angela, any ideas?
Well, I don't know. We've talked a couple times about who we think could be the breathtaking tawny-haired
I know, but
actor.
that also entails time walking.
Yeah, that's true.
Has he aged out of his vampire part?
He's gotten too dingy. Angelina wrung him out and threw him out wet.
Oh, Brad, really?
Troy era Brad, yes. I think that's who Deb had in mind when she was writing the book, was Brad Pitt from Troy. Because if you look at him as Achilles, it's like, oh yeah.
That's tough for me. I mean, a lot of people will suggest Philippe's, but in Shadow of Night, she says he's the most breathtaking creature I've ever seen.
And that's, more than Matthew. So
yes,
right.
How do you even come up with that? It's like
Brad Pitt in a moment, in like one photograph, where he's just like the sublime ultimate Brad Pitt.
Hair flowing.
Perfect. Which is like he's mostly not perfect.
I feel like he's gotten better as he aged. I like him scruffier. But he's not vampire quality though.
No longer. And Vigo, I was going to say Vigo sometimes in certain photographs, but he's also aged out.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how long the series goes.
Yeah.
Because some of our picks are aging out as we speak.
Oh, some of our picks have got, one of our main picks got way too expensive and way too talented
Yeah, that would be Michael Fassbender, right? Yeah.
Priced way out of our range.
We can't afford him.
But for a Discovery of Witches, he only has to show up for maybe one episode.
It's like, dude, it's one day on the set. You can do it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like 3 days on the set for Book of Life.
Right.
Well, let it be done.
You know what I can't wait to wrap my head around is that they will all pretty much look the same age, even though like Philippe is how many thousands of years older. He's really going to be the same age as
Isabeau's his mother and looks younger.
Right.
Have you given thought to Isabeau, Val?
Originally I said Angelina Jolie-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Something with that aura. Something that could look cold yet gloriously beautiful. Like
I think Eva Green does that better.
Just like if you can picture her from 10, 15 years ago, she just had this aura of she could be cold, but still gloriously beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And portrayed intelligence through her eyes. There's some actresses out there that can portray so many emotions with her eyes, and she's one of them. Somebody like that. Like I'm saying, nothing specific. They have to have an aura about them. So, yeah, if I could afford her, about Angelina Jolie 15 years ago.
With blonde hair.
Well, honey. Okay.
I know.
Honey hair. I'm really particular about that because honey is kind of light brown.
True. I always thought Diane Kruger, because she's got that very elegant, unapproachable.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, that could work.
I always pictured a young Catherine Deneuve.
Definitely.
Yes. Aged out, and we can't afford her.
Well, yeah.
We're dreaming, so I can have her.
Yeah, you can have her. That's right. In our mind movies, we can have whoever we want.
Very true. Very true. Marcus. Has anybody given thought to Marcus?
He's a hard one.
He's got a lot of personalities. Why I always have a hard time is somebody's got to be. He's got to be cheeky and smart and young, but not young,
and somewhat goofy in the first book.
Oh yeah,
but smart.
Mm-hmm. He's wearing chucks.
But someone who doesn't.
I mean, he's somebody who has to be able to wear chucks and do it non-ironically.
Yeah, he's got to mean it, but he's got to be that. I don't know. Yeah, he's always been hard to picture. I mean, I always picture like a lot of kids around here, like my son's friends, just kind of a little bit scruffy, but smart as hell. They wear what they want, like they do in Washington. People wear what they want and
do what they want.
Do what they want. And, you can be at a formal affair here in Washington. People will show up in sandals and, and shorts and a tux top.
But that's what's perfect about Marcus, though, because as I was saying before, he's a rebel. So in everything he does, it's that thread that runs through him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dresses how he wants, wears what he wants, a lab coat and chucks, and no big deal.
Well, what else? Go ahead.
I think we talked about everybody that shows up in Shadow of Night for the most part. I mean, the main characters. Then there's Fred, the porter.
Fred the porter. He's hot in my head.
Well, why shouldn't he be?
Who said he's got to be this regular guy? He could be hot.
Yeah. Oh, and Timothy.
Timothy is important, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want him to be too goofy.
No, somebody who appears there but not.
I mean, he's got to be eccentric but not goofy.
I was going to say, in Ada, though, you're right, though, Val. He can't appear too important.
Yeah. He's got to just somebody who blends in the background and somebody you're just like, oh, that.
Despite the fact he's wearing two different color boots.
But nobody you give two thoughts about, I think.
Yeah.
Look at all these weirdos that Diana's encountering. That's what should be your thought.
Right.
To me,
exactly.
Timothy, Johnny Lee Miller is like a really good Timothy because he's got that same quirky brilliance that's got to come into play later on.
So does, like, when you say Johnny Lee Miller, I think that's perfect, but I also think of that, like, Alan Cumming in that same...
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, Johnny Lee Miller's taken. He's Hamish. Whatever.
Okay, fine. Just as long as Jonathan Rhys Myers is Kit.
That could still happen.
Yeah. Although he's in Vikings supposedly coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I can say...
Is that all we're going to do with our budget? Cast people?
No, we already said we're going to do everything on location. And,
right.
unless you've got a director in mind.
fly 3 demons in for every episode?
Yes, 3 certain demons. That's right.
Clarissa and the other 2.
All they have to do is pay airfare. We'll do it.
And Val promises not to laugh while she's sitting in the carols at the Bodleian.
Good luck.
I would be so disappointed if she didn't.
Good luck. Angela will slip me wine just to spite me.
Yeah. And I'll just be like, hand to my forehead going, I don't know these people.
Oh, gosh. I think that wraps it up, guys.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I think we did good. All right, everybody, audience, my fellow demons. I think it's time to close because there's some wine to be drunk.
Yes.
It's staring at me in the face.
I feel like you're going to break out into so long.
If I could sing, I would, but
don't let it stop you, Val. It won't stop you.
You clearly have not had enough wine.
And for the audience, Angela enjoys me on wine. She says that I am especially humorous.
It's not Val drinking wine. It's Val on the wine.
Val on the wine it's awesome.
Yeah, a lot more laughing apparently.
It's giddy.
It's giddy. It's giddy. And apparently I'm a demanding person
No,
too.
I'm the one that's demanding, damn it.
Okay, like I said, audience, we're gonna go now
we're sorry.
and drink our wines.
We would recommend that you listen to this particular podcast
while drinking wine.
We'll put that in the show notes. Do we have a contest question?
No.
We should. What are you drinking? There's your contest question.
For which contest?
Our giveaway.
Our giveaway.
Which giveaway?
Are you just being difficult now?
No, because we already have a contest question. It's a trivia question on what Angela said in the first episode for the Halloween. We haven't come up with the other one yet.
Well, we'll probably need to splice it into this one because by the time this one's put up there, we'll be on another contest.
Oh, we can come up with one.
We should stop recording.
So what's the well, I gotta do a closer.
Do the closer and then we'll talk about it. Damn it. I'm out of wine. I'm in the closet and I'm out of wine. I have to walk across the damn house to get more.
Okay. As we wrap it up, guys.
Wrap it up, Val.
We're going to say goodbye and drink our wines. But since you're listening to us, you already know how to find us. But do you know how to subscribe to us? Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or I have a whole bunch of other places you can click and subscribe. Contact us on social media. We are Demons Domain or Demons Discuss on your Twitter, on your Facebook. And visit us at our home base, demonsdomain.com. And if you just want the podcast, visit us at demonsdiscuss.com. I can't talk. It's the wine, guys. And we're going to leave you here and continue to drink. So have a great day. And who's playing us out? What's going on?
Al's not. Ohio State won because apparently he's blasting the stereo now.
No, Wisconsin was winning.
Oh, Wisconsin was. I don't know. We watched the Tribe and the Blue Jays, and that was enough for me.
This is like the Oscars. They played me out. Okay, goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, audience.